Ryan, how excited are you to be named manager of Cardiff Met Football Club?
Incredibly excited, incredibly proud. I think it's been a long time coming. Having had those conversations over a while, but now it's finally hit. It's very exciting, and to come here today and leave work and you know, to do this has really got me excited. Yeah.
And is it a role you've had your eye on for a while?
Wouldn't say I had my eye on, but it's something that I've developed into, and something that I've loved to do previously in my career to become a manager. But to do it this early and to have the trust from Christian to be able to do it this early is fantastic. So yeah, without a doubt, it's something I've had my eye on, but up to now it's been just supporting Christian, supporting the team.
And how did you find out?
Officially or unofficially? No, Christian and I speak every single day, so it's been a series of conversations rather than a one-off. I do remember that one time. I won't share that because that's something between Christian and I, but yeah, it's been a couple of years in the making, and you know, having found out a short while ago, it's something that Christian and I can share if I'm truthful.
Christian, why is Ryan the right man for the job?
We go back a long way, myself and Ryan, right back as far as the Nottingham Forest days, where we met each other for the first time then, and we kind of kept in touch along that journey. I came to Cardiff Met to study in 2006, and Ryan was studying here, and we got chatting again. So Ryan knows Cardiff Met, maybe in a different guise as to what it used to be. But he knows Cardiff Met, he knows what it's like to be a student, he knows what it's like to be a football player, and over the last 7 or 8 years he's worked alongside me to know what it's like to become a coach. So really it was quite a natural progression for me, for Ryan to step in, mindful of a young family that he has, so I was conscious of that and allow him to make the step up, but also recognise that if I could help support him along the way, having a young family when I took over, he would be the natural fit. And he is. I say the only thing for Ryan is he's external to the university, but actually within the club, you know, he's very much implicit within it. He was a great conduit for me between the players and myself, and the players recognise that as well, and he has the utmost respect from every single player and everybody associated with the club.
And how important is that sort of sense of progression that you appoint from within almost, even though, Ryan, you're not part of Cardiff Met University as such, that sort of Liverpool boot room boys philosophy of bringing in people that know? Does that make you feel more comfortable, Christian, handing over the reins?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very. We met a coach last night about potentially bringing that person in. I'm very fearful of outsiders. This is very much an inclusive group, and the people on the outside don't always know what the group's about. But Ryan knows exactly what the group is about, and that was always important for me to develop from within. Ryan's been away, done his FAW badges. He's on his A licence now, so soon to finish that. If not, he's finished already. So he's looking for that next progression, which is management, and the progression towards the pro licence, which he's more than capable of doing.
So Ryan, knowing as you do what the team achieved under Christian, does that add pressure coming in, or do you feel it's a fresh start?
We've had these conversations, and the only pressure I have is the badge, and you know, I'll only be a manager for a short period of time for this football club, and my job is to make sure that the manager's jacket, or whatever you want to call it, it remains heavy, and that's the only pressure I put on myself, really, is making sure that I do the best job for the players, for this club, and nothing more, and that's all I can do. And if I do that, I'm sure everything will be fine.
You mentioned the manager's jacket. Will you be wearing a suit or a tracksuit on the touchline?
Well, that'll be to be determined, but I got a tracksuit on today, and we'll see. I might evolve, I don't know.
Talking of style, what's your style? What's your philosophy? How might it differ from Christian's? How is it still developing?
I don't think I have a style, a particular style. I think I like good football, and what that means is beating teams in any way that we can, whether that's playing through, around, over, finding weaknesses within opposition team and trying to exploit them, highlighting where we could be weak and making sure that we don't get done or get beat in that way. So I wouldn't necessarily say I have a particular style or a philosophy as yet, but it's just about working hard above everything else, and having that determination to overcome adversities and when we win together. When we lose together. And regardless, we remain as a group. So that for me is my philosophy more than anything.
Christian said at the end of last season that his greatest achievement wasn't all the cups and the promotions. It was 6 or 7 students getting PhDs. If we ask you the same question in a few years, how are you going to measure success? What are your ambitions?
Yeah, as a manager of a football club, you managed on the field, but also intrinsically, I think looking at the young men that are coming to the football club and making sure that they have all the opportunities they can become the best people they can be and become the best footballers they can be. And if there's 1 or 2 of them who do well academically, in their personal life, and indeed in football, because we're all here for football as well, then I know I've done my job. And when the boys are happy and we're winning games, and we get into latter stages in competitions, that's when I know that something is going well and something is going right. So those things are important to me, but people and developing people is of utmost importance to me as well.
Last season wasn't as successful as seasons previously. Where do you think the club might need a little bit of strengthening, and is that something you're looking at this summer?
It's how you determine success. I thought last year was successful. Another final, lost out on a penalty again. Those things are very difficult to judge whether you're successful or not. But I'm really happy with the squad that we've got. I'm really happy with Eliot, who we brought in to become an assistant manager, and very happy with the backroom staff and the staff that we have. And it's about my job to develop every single one of those individuals, the coaching staff as well, and every single player. So the weaknesses can be from week to week. It's about my job making sure that those weaknesses become strength over a period of time. So it's easy for anybody to bring a player in, but at Cardiff Met we don't have that opportunity. We develop from within, and that's really important, and that's why I think my job is important, and my match to Christian really was about that. We don't have endless resources, and our resources have to come from good coaching and good development. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
You mentioned your new assistant manager, assistant coach, Eliot. New role for you. How exciting is that, and what do you expect it to be like?
Yeah, really good opportunity. I wasn't really expecting it at sort of this stage in my career, I suppose. I still think I've got loads of time left as a player, but obviously Jenks and Swan both spoke to me about my development away from the playing side of things. Obviously I've done my coaching badges, I've worked in the academy for a few years, so it seems like a good logical sort of progression at this stage in my life really, so excited.
Just to reassure Archers fans though, is playing still your priority?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm not the quickest player anyway, so I'm not going to lose much pace. I do like to think I've got a few years left in me, but yeah, I think if I can combine this role well with playing, I think it could be something really exciting, definitely.
How will it work at training and at match days? Will you have a slightly different role?
On match days it'll be, if I'm obviously in the squad and not a sub, as Swanee was joking about just then, I'll be as a player completely. But then in the week it'll be a case of just supporting Jenks around training. That sort of link between the dressing room and the coaching staff as well, which I think we've always had well, and Ryan's done that really well over the last few years. Being that link towards the senior coaching staff and the dressing room, so I think that'll be a big part of the role as well. As I say, just to support Jenks really, and support the team as well. I think being a good influence within the dressing room as well. I think that's a big part of the role really.
And we talk about sort of good cop, bad cop style of coaching sometimes. Who's who here?
I'll be more the good cop. I think Jenks, he works in the school as an assistant head, so he's the one who's got the nasty side to him. But as I say, I'll be there to support Jenks in whatever way he sees fit. There may be opportunities where he's a good cop and maybe I've got to speak in the dressing room at different points, but it's across the season, different situations happen.
We mentioned match days and roles. Christian, where will you be on match day? Where will you be sat? Will you be there?
Be next to the log fire in the house. No, I think I've stressed from day one that when I made this transition out, I wanted the transition to be an appropriate one, and for me to support Ryan in what he does. Already, it's some little things, some little tactics that I've given him away from the pitch for him to lean on and go, yeah, I like the idea of that. So maybe, I hate to use the word term mentor, because it's not that. We're good friends, we're good mates away from it. So support Ryan, support Eliot, support the first team coach we won't announce today, will be coming in tomorrow, and just to generally support the team in whatever they do. I'm on the campus every single day, so which is Ryan doesn't have that capabilities. But I've always been the director of football, performance director, whatever you want to call it. It was quite funny when we decided that this was going to happen, and we had to make it at the end of the season after the Carnarvon game, that I would stand down. Of course, the FAW were made aware of that, and I got an email to say that I was no longer the manager of Cardiff Met, but 30 seconds later I had an email from Comet to tell me I was the new chairman. So I'm the chairman of the club as well, which is fine. I'll still wash the kit next year. That's one agreement I said to Ryan before I leave, is that you're not taking the kit off me. The kit's mine. I'll always wash it. So that's my little bit of giving that back to the players. They'll have a fresh, clean kit on a Saturday morning, as they've always done. So in a warp type of way, that's my bit of back to the players.
And just back to you, Ryan, what sort of managers do you aspire to, other than Christian, right across the game of football? Who do you look up to? Who do you think you'll sort of borrow certain things from?
Array of people, really. I get the mick taken out of me because I don't watch much of the Premier League. I much prefer sort of La Liga, and I've watched La Liga. I'm a Barcelona fan, and look at managers outside of the norm. Obviously, successful managers like Klopp and Pep Guardiola, they're all so obvious to look at, and the footage is there to borrow from. But there's people who's been influential in my life, as coaches, as managers. That's who I'll be borrowing from and looking from as well, because everything is contextual, and I think I've got some experiences from those people that I've worked under. In particular, I don't, it's not about embarrassing Christian here, but if I don't move too far away from the principles and the ideas that we've developed over the years, I don't think we can go far wrong, because they have been successful, and it's about how this club lives and how it's going to evolve. And if it's going to evolve with those right principles. We can't allow those principles to become barriers, without a doubt, but developing those principles to become contemporary, modern, and to fit whatever's needed for that given game, for that given week, for that season, for that competition, because there's lots of competitions available to us, and we want to be successful in as many of them as possible.
That's great. Thanks very much, guys. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
That'll be the end of that chunk.